Amazing footage from Louisville, Kentucky. These guys, these hero cops to the rescue yesterday. You heard about the mass shooting, right? Well, tragically, 5 people were killed, but a lot more people would have been killed if it wasn't for these cops. We'll never have these people back, but they are remembered, all 5 of them, of course, colleagues at that bank. As far as the shooter, well, we're hearing some interesting things. The shooter was quite the athlete and may have suffered numerous, as in dozens of concussions. Now, take a look at this picture. Can you make out his head? He's wearing a helmet. How many basketball players have you ever? I've never seen a basketball player wear a helmet. And we're told the reason why he was wearing that helmet is because he had suffered so many concussions. That could have a lasting impact. We've heard of CTE in football players. This is something that I think should be investigated and talked about. Instead, no, it's all about assault weapons ban. Yes, let's do it. Ban assault weapons before she even knows what kind of weapon is involved or anything. Just assault weapons ban. It's all about the guns. No, 2 weeks ago, it could have been about transgender issues and psychotropic drugs. And with this person, and by the way, he's responsible, but did football, playing sports, and those injuries have a role? I think that's worth knowing, don't you? Or are we going to have the same sad argument about guns all over again? By the way, we are praying for the police officer who was shot in the head, Nick Wilt. And he'd only been on the job just a few days, actually, a few weeks, I believe. Graduated from the police academy just last month, one of the hero cops who responded. All right, meanwhile, our people at risk and our secrets at risk. Oh, yeah, Joe Biden can't keep us safe, and he can't even keep our nation's intelligence under wraps. Think about it. Our people. Those 13 folks who were killed are soldiers and Marines and the sailor and the airman in Afghanistan. All right, totally blew it. And then the China balloon just traversing our country. No questions asked. We didn't even get on the phone with President Xi about this. And the FBI hassling good people who were concerned about their children's education. I mean, this is crazy stuff. And the latest is documents concerning our national security are everywhere. I mean, everywhere on everybody's social media. Take a look at the headlines. There has been a huge compromise that I don't think we've seen since maybe, let's see, WikiLeaks, or really more accurately, the Pentagon Papers. The Pentagon Papers. And go figure, the Pentagon, well, maybe they've lost focus, right? Keeping track of all those documents is tough when you have all these other things to do, right? You got to worry about woke this and celebrate that and diversity, equity, and inclusion. You know, there are only so many hours in the day. And seriously, when you bog down our national security establishment with all of this junk, there's less time to focus on the mission. There's less time to keep the documents secure. It plays a role. I know. Oh, no, it does. Our national security establishment, by the way, has totally flipped its lid. This is an actual advertisement for the CIA. They're looking for recruits to join the Central Intelligence Agency. And this is the way they do it?
Nothing about me was or is tragic. I am perfectly made. I can wax eloquent on complex legal issues in English while also belting Guayaquil de mis amores in Spanish. I can change a diaper with one hand and console a crying toddler with the other. I am a woman of color. I am a mom. I am a cisgender millennial who's been diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder.
She's also got an attitude, huh? I am this, I am that, I am perfect, I think she said. And what about that disorder? Wait, she says she has some sort of anxiety disorder. Sign her up for one of the most sensitive jobs in our government. That is taking woke way too far, don't you think? All right. Also, have you noticed any of this?
On average, people spend about 3 hours a day on their phones. and we check our phones 58 times a day.
Did you know that most people check their phones on average 58 times a day? And we spend nearly 4 hours a day looking down our mobile devices?
You know, I wish it was just 58 times a day or 4 hours on our devices. I don't believe that. That stuff is dated, all right? That's not the case. We have reached a tipping point. Yes, the cell phone tipping point. What is that? Most people are spending more time looking at that phone than they are looking at the world around them. More time. They may check the real world 58 times a day, but the default, the natural position, is to be on this silly device. I mean, take a look at it. You've seen it a million times, whether people are having dinner or they just got married. Seems like there's always something better to do on the phone. This is our brains are being rewired, and something Darwinian is occurring, and I am genuinely worried about it. Now, granted, the phone provides some amazing things, and right now I am actually relying on it for information about January 6th, because guess what? We're not getting it from Lester Holt or Nora O'Donnell. No way. There's a trial going on, some of the Proud Boys, the accused Proud Boys, which include Enrique Tarrio. He's been on the show a couple of times. He's not a white supremacist, by the way. He's Afro-Cuban. So many lies have been told about him and the Proud Boys, and hardly anybody is paying attention to the trial. Take a look at this media scene. This is not the Proud Boys trial. This is, I think, Murdoch in South Carolina. Remember that? Seems like 8 years ago. Enrique Tarrio got in trouble because he burned a Black Lives Matter flag. That was the first thing he did wrong, and they actually put him in jail for that. Can you believe that? He pled guilty, and they put him in prison for burning a Black Lives Matter flag. I mean, the big mistake he made, of course, not burning an American flag. Enrique, that's what you should have done. You could have avoided all of this, perhaps. Anyway, after he got out, the real, in my opinion, harassment began. Enrique Tarrio and the Proud Boys, according to some reports, on January 6th, there may have been just as many FBI agents in this group as there were Proud Boys. At times, the FBI had 8 informants inside the Proud Boys in the months surrounding January 6, 2021. And oh, by the way, there are reports that there may have been dozens of informants/federal agents there on January 6th. Would have been nice if somebody called ahead. Enrique Tarrio was actually in text contact with somebody he knew, a police chief in Washington, D.C. He knew he was a police chief. He was keeping him updated about what they were doing, the Proud Boys, where they were. He was cooperating with law enforcement because he wasn't looking for trouble. This has been documented. Take a look. Enrique Tarrio, then chairman of the, they say far-right extremist group. This is the New York Times. Repeatedly shared outlines of members' plans in D.C. and elsewhere at the request of Shane Lamond, a 22-year veteran of the D.C. Police Department. At one point, Lamond said, hey, we definitely have to catch up for drinks before you leave. This wasn't subversive. They were working with the government. They weren't looking for trouble, I do believe. Look, the trial hasn't been covered adequately. More on that in a moment. But there are key questions. We have to expand our list of questions about January 6th, all right? The Proud Boys, there needs to be more attention on this. Why didn't? If there were so many informants there, which we're confident there were, did one of them not call the Capitol and say, you need more guards at Peace Plaza? You see, there's one Capitol police officer there on January 6th at 11:22 in the morning. And this is after they walked all the way from the ellipse, right? Why did they have only one? Why didn't one of these guys call? Maybe they wanted something bad to happen. All right, so what are our questions? Number one, who was that little cop, all right? Why was that little cop waving people in so enthusiastically? Step this way, right? Why were those officers just standing there? The January 6th committee didn't even try, didn't even ask these questions. Why were they just standing there as people came right on in? Next, why did those 3 police officers just walk away from their post? Why did they just let the mob have at that door and put Ashley Babbitt's life at risk? Look, they walk away, and then all hell breaks loose, huh? How about that? And now we know over the past couple of weeks, we found out, in part thanks to Speaker McCarthy and Tucker Carlson. The shaman, the horns guy, escorted around by Capitol cops. What was that all about? You know, nobody actually addressed the substance of this. They were just yelling and screaming, how dare this be shown on TV? Just show the selectively edited stuff that we provided the committee. No, that's important. And Officer Sicknick, here he is on January 6th, alive and well when they said he had already been hit in the head with a fire extinguisher, which is not true, and that he was, well, dying. Not true. These are big questions for the country. The media should be asking them. No, instead they're too busy at this trial and that trial and not asking about Hunter Biden's laptop. Can you believe that the President of the United States, President Joe Biden, can go in front of the media and not be asked about the laptop? As far as we can tell, he has never been asked by a member of the press about that laptop. Only Donald Trump has brought it up, and he did it right to his face. By the way, Biden, with all of his issues, could this be true?
Are you saying that you would be taking part in our upcoming election in 2024?
Well, I'll either be rolling an egg or being the guy who's pushing them out.
Come on, help a brother out. Make some news for me.
I plan on running out, but we're not prepared to announce it yet.
All right, that gibberish about rolling eggs out, I didn't get that, but he's going to run, but he's not ready to announce it. It's not a done deal. From what I'm hearing from senior people in the Democrat Party, they know. They can't deny it. Joe is weak. Joe cannot withstand the rigors of a traditional presidential campaign, which, without COVID, he can't hide in the basement, right? We're gonna have a real campaign, and they know he's not up to it. They know that.